And welcome to the Big Irish Vlog of September 23rd, 2014. Yes, I'm trying this without glasses on. I've had a lot of people talk to me about the glare and they want to see my eyes, so it's gonna be a little weird for me. I've got my script in gigantic font, but even so, if I have to occasionally kind of look like I'm looking real careful at it, please forgive because I'm getting used to doing this without glasses. I know contacts versus contacts. I hate sticking things. Just no. Anyway, let's start at the top as I promised before. To those of you who were saying I don't have to watch a whole thing, so right at the beginning, Shaintar books and Kickstarter updates. Final art and layout for Guidebook Goblinesh is coming along. I don't have an ETA yet. A little bit of delay. Artists are artists. We love what they do. They do it at their pace, and we hope they do it quickly, but we want good. And I know you guys appreciate the awesome art. So right now, knocking on the wood of my desk, we're hoping to see some serious movement on this week. The cover for Edge of Honor, the novella by Steve Long, is expected to be delivered today. If that's true, either today or tomorrow, then we should have that novella out this week. We've got Dave Newton, Shawn, Gore, Betty Law Morgan, and Ray Greer all working on books now. Dave Newton's going to be working on Guidebook Mercenaries. I'm not Guidebook. I'm sorry, Black Lantern Report Mercenaries. Shawn Gore has been asked to work on Black Lantern Report Camden, aka Snake's Den, which is Shaintar's wretched hive of scum and villainy, and it's a really fascinating place. So I think you guys are going to really enjoy that. And this is our big, thank you, Shawn, for all that you've done and giving him another book to sink his teeth into and get him out there because he's brilliant, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with that. Betty Law Morgan is working on stuff for the Guidebook Kalinar Empire. And let me tell you, she has a deep and abiding love and passion for that. And I'm looking forward to working with her and getting that completed and out to you guys. I think it's going to be exciting stuff. And I'm really excited about working with Ray Greer. He was just here this weekend. Ray and Nikki came in from the San Francisco Bay Area. And Ray is the guy who gave me my break, really, in this industry. I mean, he was the one who decided, yes, we should have Shawn start writing stuff for us because he seems really exciting, enthusiastic. And then when he saw what I could do, that was it. And he and I have been very, very dear friends for 25 years now. Ray is the guy who was doing everything else at Hero Games and with Champions. The thing is, he's never really been as appreciated for his creativity and his writing chops as I think he should be. So I'm really excited about giving him a venue to express, especially since he's the one that really made the Black Lantern come to life. And that's the book he's working on, is Black Lantern Report, Black Lantern. So he and I are going to be working very carefully on this. And he's so into what we're doing that we've actually added him to the Ravens flock. So Ray is going to be an active and continuing part of the plotting and the planning and all the exciting stuff that we're doing with the world and its continuity, because he just has, like I said, a brilliant, devious, wonderful, beautiful mind, and we're really excited about bringing that in. It's fantastic. And yes, Marion, special message to you. We're going to nail this thing down ASAP. I actually want to reach out and get some real planning done this week to get me out there for that week-long running Shaintar for you guys. All right, so I've just about finished the text on Volume 1 of Magic and Cosmology. This thing has exploded. When you see it, you will understand. We have a plan for getting Volume 2 done and out to you guys as well. We're working out the details on that one. I should be able to announce that one hopefully for the next Big Irish vlog. But we've still got to get a few details worked out to be sure we get it done the right way. Let's see, and just for those who are interested, there's also going to be some content coming out, a lot of content coming out in something called what we're calling the Raven's Feathers. I've mentioned this before, sort of modeled after, a little bit after Dragon Magazine, but I think Adventures Club is almost more the model we're going for those who remember the old Champions 4th edition days. And it's it's user-generated content. It's being headed up by Howard Brandon, and Contracts are all out to all the different people who are doing things, and if this thing works, if you guys respond well to it, then we're going to have a regular periodical coming out with additional content and some really brilliant stuff. All right, so in other Shaintar news, I want to thank Brett Smith for running Shaintar at GrandCon this past weekend. I'm really excited about that. I love that more and more of you guys are starting to step up and do that. You know, Rich Brown, for example, I know is planning, as is Mark Napick, to run some stuff at Con on the Cob. So all of you who are running Shaintar at events like this, at conventions, I have a very simple, easy to implement prize support plan for you. Just get me, find out who, whatever system you like, right? Use your chosen method to determine an MVP, most valuable player, if you will. And I recommend table votes, like everybody else do secret ballot and determine who the best, is, or if it's just sort of a universal, hey, we all know this player really kicked it. So whatever, however you choose, give me a name, give me an email address, and I will hook them up with a free PDF. If they don't have any Shaintar stuff, they'll get the Shaintar Legends Arise book. If they already have stuff, then we'll figure out what they don't have and we'll hook them up with something. So that's really as simple as that. You just send me their email address and their name, and I'll reach out to them and I'll get them something hooked up with PDF. Gen Con 2015, I want to make sure that we are starting to talk about this. Consider this an early call for everyone who can make it and is willing to run a Shaintar session or more. We're examining our program, but you can believe it's going to be huge. We want to make sure all the games are integrated into a large story arc, and it'll all be part of the biggest and most interesting event of its kind ever. I mean, this is the kind of thing we really want to make Gen Con 2015 a huge Shaintar thing. And we're trying to pull together what we're going to do for all the people who help us run this. It's going to be mega epic, and that's what I want us all going in here thinking about. So all you guys who said you were willing to help support Shaintar at Gen Con, I'm calling on you. You find lords and ladies to step it up and be there and help us make this thing huge, because I think we can do something really impressive and game changing at Gen Con. All right, just a second for me here. That's for you, Shane. Happy birthday, my brother. Shane Hensley's birthday is today, everybody, and you should totally go and embarrass him on his Facebook page or wherever. None of this is possible without Shane. And he's one of my best friends in the world. He's a fantastic human being. The industry universally loves him for a reason, because he really is just that freaking nice. And he's the reason why we're able to do amazing things with this incredible game system called Savage Worlds. He's also just been a huge supporter of Shaintar and a huge supporter of me. And so I just wanted to make sure I gave you the proper shout out, brother. I love you and happy birthday. Okay, a lot of people had asked me to start doing things, talking about game stuff in these vlogs. So I wanted to start doing something. I think I used to call it table tips. If I didn't, I'm calling it that now. So just brief little cool stuff for those who are role playing and just some gamer advice kind of things. Trying to keep it quick though. But let me couple a couple ideas here, and it may come back to the well on certain things, just because I like to use anecdotes and ideas from the table from my own experiences. Reasons to say yes. All right. You don't want to let the players run roughshod over your game when all they're really trying to do is just kind of break the game. But don't go into automatic no mode just to keep that from happening, because sometimes they're really going to surprise you with brilliant, beautiful creativity, and sometimes that's all they want to do is make the world more interesting from their own creative perspectives. So for example, there's a guy named Dave who plays in my current Rangers of Sod campaign, and he wanted to add cantrips to what was available for alchemists, and I hadn't really considered the idea of cantrips being available that way, but he did, and he convinced me of this, and it was brilliant. He's doing all these amazing things with these concepts of cantrips, which combining cantrip, the power, with trappings. He is pulling off some really, really cool stuff. For example, he threw basically what we've been scrubbing bubbles on top of a bad guy last night, and it created all this interesting effects in the game that was really, really fun. So and welcome to the Big Irish vlog of September 23rd, 2014. You'll note no glasses. this is going to be difficult, but a lot of people have asked me to try this. They really want to see my eyes and the glare, and basically it's all distracting. So I've gotten enough complaints and comments about it that I'm like going to try this. No, I don't. Fingers in the eyes with the contacts and they're dried out. No, I've just too many disaster stories where contacts are concerned. No, and I can't afford LASIK or whatever. So the way I'm doing this is my script, which is right here next to the screen where I'm doing giant font. So if I look a little like I'm trying to read, that's pretty much why. But we're going to give it a shot today and see how this works. As promised in the past, to those who are complaining about having to watch an entire video to get Kickstarter updates, well, all right, as I promised you, putting it at the top. Also, down below in the show notes, you'll see just the basic summary if you don't want to watch this at all. Which, if you're not watching this, then I'm talking to you, not it. Anyway, final art and layout for Guidebook Goblinesh is coming along. A little bit delayed because artists are artists. We want good. We want their best effort. So that being the case, we have to give some leeway as they're kind of coming along. But we're hoping to see some art this week, some sketches and things like that. So that's going to take a little bit longer than we anticipated. We're hoping the next couple of weeks or so we'll have some real progress on that. And I'll keep you up to date. But that's what's going on. Is that Goblinesh is taking a little bit longer than anticipated, and we hope to see that ramp up soon. In the meantime, we're looking for a final cover piece for Edge of Honor, which is Steve Long's really cool novella about the Cal Empire, and we expect to see that piece today or tomorrow. And if that's the case, then we should see that out real damn soon now. This week, I'm kind of hoping so. I want to say that we've got contracts out to a number of people who are going to be working on some products for us. Dave Newton used to work with Gary in his post-TSR days. Of a lot of cool stuff back in the old guard days. He is a friend of mine, and he's living here in Colorado, and we've got him working on the Black Lantern report for Mercenaries, so that should be really cool. Shawn Gore, the guy in charge of our Shaintar Justice and Life project, he's the Justice and Life director. Very talented creator, very talented writer. There's a lot of really cool stuff there, and I'm very excited to say that he's going to be working on the Black Lantern report for Camden, aka Snake's Den. So he's already started work on that. And we're talking, these are contracts and deadlines and schedules all for this year, so this stuff's ramping really fast. Betty Law Morgan, our former roommate and still very, very dear friend, who's deeply, passionately involved in all things Kalinar Empire. So she's working on that book, the guidebook Kalinar Empire. And then finally, I'm really excited to talk about Ray Greer. Now, Ray Greer is one of the 4 original Hero Games guys. It was him, George Medell, Steve Peterson, and then Bruce Harlick they brought in, who handled editing and lots of creative stuff on that as well. Those 4 guys are the ones that I worked with when I first started in this industry 25 plus years ago. But Ray is the one that I really bonded with in terms of he and I just understood each other about schmoozing and entertainment and all the things related to making something bigger and better. I'm very excited about all that. But Ray is also just a brilliant, devious, wonderful, twisted, creative mind. A fantastic role player, fantastic storyteller, who I don't think ever got nearly enough recognition for his creative talents. And I'm really excited to have him working with me on the Black Lantern report, Black Lantern. He's the guy that really fleshed that organization out, and he and I have got some amazing ideas. He was here this past weekend, him and Nikki, his lovely wife, very, very dear friends, and they were in here from San Francisco, and we got a chance to sit down, hang out, and talk about a bunch of really cool stuff. Not only is Ray going to be working with me on these books, or on this particular book and then future stuff, he's also decided to join the Ravens flock, where he is going to get to add his creative, brilliant, crazy thinking mind to what we're doing with the Justice and Life stuff and the overall continuity as it develops. So I'm really, really excited about working with Ray and getting his writing and his creativity back out there in the games industry. And I've just about finished Volume 1 of Magic and Cosmology. As mentioned before, this has now become a 2-volume book. I've just got a little bit left to write on that. I should have that knocked out today or tomorrow. And I'm really excited. You guys are going to be blown away when you see all the content. I'm revealing so many amazing things that have never been said before. It's really going to explain a lot of stuff. It's going to give some really cool game mechanic stuff as well. We have a plan coming together for how we're going to put Volume 2 out into the thing, because this was not originally planned as a 2-volume thing. The Kickstarter funds are very, very lockstep to what they're going towards. So we got a pre-order funding idea we're putting together for Volume 2. I think it's going to work. We got to get some more details, and as soon as I have all that worked out, I'll let you guys know. Also want to make sure you guys know about the user-created content-driven Raven's Feathers. I think I've talked about this before as well, and Howard Brandon's in charge of that one. That's going to be stuff coming in from users, creators, players who have been involved with the Shaintar Justice and Life stuff, or even pre-Justice and Life, just the ongoing campaigns and stuff that I've read over the years. And some really exciting stuff coming together for that as well. So if this works, if you guys support it, you get into it, you buy it, and you support this thing, and you like it, then we're going to try to make this happen into a regular periodical. Some people have said you mean like Dragon Magazine, but I think this is a little bit more like Adventures Club from the old Champions and Hero System days. And I'm very excited about that because that was a really great periodical. In other Shaintar news, okay, by the way, those who are Kickstarter backers, there, you can stop watching if you don't want to watch the rest, but there's your updates. In other Shaintar news, I want to thank Brett Smith for running Shaintar at GrandCon this past weekend. I love that more and more of you are doing this, and I'm really excited about it. And I want to make sure you know that I have your backs. I want to support you guys. Very, very simple, easy support concept. So if you go and you run an event or multiple events at a convention, for each of those events, get an MVP, however you want to do it. I recommend a table vote, right? Usually like a secret vote so nobody feels too embarrassed about it. But figure out, I have like a cool scoring system. If you want to know about it, let me know. Basically what I do is I race like your number 1 choice, put them at the top, and that's worth 3 points. Your number 2 choice is worth 2 points. Your number 1 choice is worth 1 point, or your number 3 choice is worth 1 point. And you get all that turned in, and then you total it up, and whoever ends up with the most points, they're the MVP. Kind of spreads the love around. So you can like do, hey, but the runner-up was this, and then here's our number 1. So anyway, get names and email addresses if you are a Shaintar GM at a convention or at a special store event or something. If you're doing anything like that in a public way, get their name of the MVP and their email address and get it to me, and I will hook them up with Shaintar Legends Arise as PDF if they haven't got that already. If they do, and then I'll figure out what they don't have, and I'll hook them up with something from the Evil Beagle catalog. So that's how that happens. GenCon 2015. I want to make sure that you guys who are planning on being there and are Shaintar fans and supporters, let us know. We're going to start talking to each other about this. We're going to start putting a plan together. We're going to have a huge story arc. Those who are running games, I'm going to do stuff to support you in that. We're going to have a cool, everyone's running part of a big shared storyline. It's all going to be unique, fun stuff. It's going to be an epic, grand event of the likes of which has never been seen at a big con before, or really any con before. And it's going to be very exciting. The stuff that we did at Tacticon, we're going to take that idea and just explode it at Gen Con in 2015. So we want to work with everybody who's going. We want to make sure all the players have lots of games to play. We want to make sure the GMs have all the support they need to run, and we're going to work together on putting this great program together. So if you are planning to go to Gen Con in 2015, go ahead and let us know as soon as you can. And we want to integrate you and involve you in the great planning stage, which will have like a background, all the GMs talking and sharing. Me, Shawn, and the others are going to be putting this together, and this is going to be exciting stuff. I want to blow Gen Con away with this. I want to have the Gen Con people go, where the hell did this come from? Now, on to my next bit today. That's it. Shane Hensley, happy birthday. Yes, brother, I'm talking to you. Everyone, Shane Hensley, it's his birthday today, and I just got to say, Shaintar wouldn't happen without Shane. Not the way it is right now. None of this would have been possible. And a lot of Savage Worlds fans and a lot of people in the games industry and just people overall the world, anyone who knows Shane, he's an awesome human being. He's a universally loved person, except by me. I hate you because you run all the time and you make me look bad. No, I'm just kidding. Shane is the reason a lot of people get to do a lot of cool stuff. And he's such a giving, good person. And one of my best friends in the world. So yes, I'm embarrassing you thoroughly. Everyone go to his Facebook page, post happy birthday to Shane Hensley, because yeah, I love imagining his face turning red and him just his head in his hand going, oh God. But he's a great human being, and I really do love you, brother. So happy birthday to you. Okay, so people had asked me in the past to start doing more stuff about gaming and my advice as a GM and Tales from the Table and stuff like that. So I'm going back to something called table tips, and I'm going to just like little brief bits, things to help GMs and players enhance their gaming experience based on my own personal experiences. So let me just, and I'll probably go back to the well on certain ideas. Like you'll see me mention certain concepts over and over again because I'm just going to use anecdotes to reinforce a particular idea. For example, reasons to say yes. I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about this again today. There's a guy named Dave who plays at my table who convinced me to let him try putting cantrips into potions. I hadn't really made cantrips available as a potions thing, but he really wanted to try, and he submitted a whole bunch of ideas, and I'm really glad I said yes because he uses them to the greatest role-playing effect. He just does these really cool, creative ideas, uses the concept of trappings to a point. And so, for example, in the middle of a battle last night, he's about to take a big action against a huge troll, and there's like, oh, this troll's almost killed one of the player characters. We're thinking he's here comes the alchemist with this cool potion launcher thing, and he's going to do something. He shoots something he calls power bubbles, but basically it's scrubbing bubbles. He's the cantrip for cleaning stuff, but with some trappings added to it, it did create a minor effect of like everything's slippery and it's like -1 for agility checks for a round or whatever. But I mean, for the most part, it was just this great moment of role play. And he's used this cantrips concept for other role play stuff as well. So, by saying yes to his request to have access to a power that he didn't normally, and it wasn't a big deal. I was supposed to try to make it really overcomplicated. I just said, you know what, you figured out how to do cantrips and potions, and I'm really glad I did because he has just run off with that and done really fun, creative role play stuff with it. And another guy at our table, Dan, who plays Kazagar, the beast Dragordian, who he's really going some very interesting directions with his background and his story and what he's trying to do with it. Uh, it's on one hand you could say, well, wow, his character's got a lot of importance and a lot of power kind of thing going on, but he's also got a lot of flaws and hindrances and stories. But the thing is, he's carrying this story along, and everyone really is interested in it and excited about it. And it's instead of trying to hold him back, I'm just sort of throwing the door open and letting him be very creative. And so it's created a partnership in story creation. And that's true for every player I have at my table. They all bring so much to it. So finding reasons to say yes to their ideas tends to result in some great story. And then there are times when it's like, okay, that's a little bit too much. We need to pull back on that. And the point is, the more you say yes, then when the times come that you have to say no, they're a lot more they're less resistant. They're like, okay, well, he's usually saying yes to something, so he must, this is cool. If he's saying no, then this because it's broken. And usually half the time they'll come to me and go, you know what, I wanted to ask you to do this, but I realized this is broken. So they start to figure that out themselves. Other thing I want to point out is the concept of round the table. During combat, it's really easy to make sure everybody gets their turn because, well, there's initiative and there's a specific mechanic system for making sure that people have their turns. You need to keep that going out of combat. In non-combat social situations, storytelling situations, what have you, it's real easy to let the attention grabbing and dynamic and charismatic and I'm just, pushing myself forward players, of which I'm one. We can tend to take a table over, and knowing that as a player, I try to stop myself, take it back. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I've had a lot of face time right now, so I'll get up and walk away. But not everybody really thinks about that because they're so into their character and the story. That's where they are, and that's not necessarily selfish, but you're in your character and you're being your character. But the people who don't tend to be as overt will tend to step back and just sort of watch and whatever. And sometimes they're happy doing that, but it's important to take those moments. You're like, okay, hold on, everybody, just take a second. I want to go around the table and make sure everybody's doing what they want to do, or so. While you guys are having this conversation, hang on. So what are you doing? And what are you doing? And go around the table. Give everybody a turn. That is games. There is a role-playing games. And there are times when, as a game, you have to make sure everybody has their turn. So I just think it's a really important idea. Okay, other geeky revelations to share. Black and Red. I know I've talked about this before. I'm saying it again. Oh my God, that place is amazing. So if you ever get to Colorado, specifically if you get to the Denver area, this is, to me, it's one of the most amazing used books, games, toys, media places I've ever been to. And we took a bunch of old gaming stuff that I've had for a while that I'm never going to do anything with, turned it in, and just in direct, because they're amazing. They're very kind, very, very cool people. So this was just straight up trade. And I got the new Firefly board game, which I've played once and really, really loved, by the way. So now I have it, and one of the little expansions, and I'm hoping to get my hands on more, start playing this. Got the latest Ascension product finally, which, by the way, I'm jonesing to play Ascension again. That's a great deck building game. To me, for me, it's one of the best deck building games I've ever played. Thunderstone is another really good one. Got to break out my Thunderstone stuff, start playing that again. But as far as just straight up build a deck, get it. There's a board, and it's all just kind of right there in front of you, and everybody's just playing. Ascension's pretty awesome. Another game I've really liked playing, and thank you, Shawn Gore, for introducing it. I really want to play it some more. Lords of Waterdeep. I played a couple of times. I've really enjoyed both of the times I've played. I want to continue playing that game because it's just there's neat mechanics to it. It has a great feel to it. That whole scheming, conniving to get missions done amidst the city of Waterdeep. It's really, really cool. We were at a party this past weekend for Dave, as a matter of fact, the Alchemist player. He was his birthday party, and we played Citadels. I hadn't played Citadels forever. I got to see if I still have my Citadels game, because I've forgotten how awesome that game was. So thank you, Mike, for bringing Citadels in us. Get a chance to play that. And an upcoming Champions 4th Edition game with Lee Langston. This is all based on a bunch of us being drunk at Tacticon and convincing Lee to do it, but it's actually going to happen now. That's happening very soon, as a matter of fact. So I'm looking forward to telling you guys all about that. Ross and I both realized that without a player, mechanic or economy to affect roles, which, Hero System comes from the days when you didn't have that kind of thing. So that, where the dice fall thing, without an ability to spend a penny or something to modify, you were a little nervous about that because we've gotten spoiled. D&D even has that now, and of course here, Savage Worlds. But and then finally, I just want to make sure you guys know that Corinne is actually planning on doing something. This was talked about this past weekend. The all ladies game that she's planning on running. I believe it's going to be set in the Crew campaign setting, which is based on Chris Kucera's original Shadowdeep campaign, modern day supernaturally enhanced agents versus monsters kind of thing. And she's planning on running it as an all female campaign, and they're planning on vidcasting it. So I think that should be really cool. Looking forward to seeing that. All right, so that's what I got today, and I appreciate you guys' patience, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this worked out. My eyes started to adjust, so we'll see. Let me know. Let me know if you liked me doing it without glasses. And as always, game on, peace out.